I mean, everybody was surprised, so you can imagine how surprised I was. I was almost asleep, so when I got a call, I had to check it was April 1st.
They actually went and did it. The Mavericks just pulled off what might be the biggest self-destruction move in NBA history. This isn't a mistake. It's a full-blown disaster that'll be talked about for decades. Dallas traded away a 25-year-old MVP candidate, fresh off carrying them to the finals for a 31-year-old vet who can't even stay healthy for a week. Luka Dončić didn't demand a trade, didn't cause locker room drama, didn't even hint at leaving. He just woke up at midnight to find out he'd been shipped to the Lakers like some backup bench player. Unbelievable. And now Luka's rocking the purple and gold, dropping 40 a night, while Dallas sits at the bottom of the league, drowning in regret. The dude they gave up for cap flexibility is turning into the next Kobe Bryant right before their eyes. This isn't just a bad trade, it's a generational curse. A mistake so brutal it'll haunt the Mavericks for the next 20 years. Smash that subscribe button if you're watching a franchise collapse in real time.
I was surprised, so you can imagine how surprised I was. I was almost asleep, so when I got a call, I had to check it was April 1st. I didn't really believe it at first. And it was a big shock. It was hard moments for me. It was home, so it was really hard moments for me, especially the first day. As I said, I get to play in the greatest club in the world, and I'm excited for this new journey.
Picture this. NBA history was made that night. For the first time ever, two active All-NBA players were traded for each other mid-season. It was chaos. Luka was half asleep in his Dallas home when his phone buzzed. No warning, no heads up, nothing. Reporters asked if he refused to sign an extension with Dallas, and Luka's camp shut that down instantly. They said he never even thought about leaving. And here's the kicker. Luka ranks third all-time in points per game, averaging a wild 28.6 over his career and nearly 34 a game this season. Those are legendary numbers, and Dallas just threw that away like it was nothing. Last season, Luka posted the sixth highest scoring average in 50 years. You don't trade a guy doing that, but apparently, Dallas GM Nico Harrison missed the memo. When asked about the move, Harrison told ESPN, "I believe defense wins championships." He claimed that bringing in an all-defensive center and a two-way All-NBA player would make them built to win now and in the future.
Well, as much pleasure as this move from Luca gave LeBron and Austin Reeves there. Love that reaction on the bench, but this might have been the highlight of the night here.
Well, spoiler alert, they're 2-6 right now, dead last in the West. Built to win, more like built to collapse. Meanwhile, over in LA, Luka's gone absolutely nuclear. Through his first 5 games as a Laker, he's averaging 40.0 points, 11 rebounds, 9.2 assists, and 2 steals per game. Yeah, you heard that right, 40 points per game. The only other guy in NBA history to do that through his first 3 games of a season, Wilt freaking Chamberlain, that's not just greatness, that's immortality. And here's where karma comes swinging back like a wrecking ball. Remember when Dallas said Luka's conditioning was a problem? Yeah. Those same critics are now staring at magazine covers of a ripped, shredded Luka Dončić on Men's Health, flexing like he's been training with Greek gods. Lakers fans saw those pics and instantly knew something special was coming. Then came Eurobasket 2025, where Luka torched everyone in sight, dragging Slovenia through the tournament like a one-man army. That run sent hype through the stratosphere. The out-of-shape guy Dallas gave up on? He's now on pace to join Michael Jordan and Wilt Chamberlain as the only players ever to average 40 points per game for an entire season. Since joining the Lakers, their offense has exploded, 116.1 offensive rating, 7th best in the entire NBA. The difference is night and day. Dallas traded away a generational legend in his prime and handed the Lakers a dynasty on a silver platter. The Lakers didn't just get Luka, they got a complete system overhaul. Their three-point attempts skyrocketed from 34.3 per 100 possessions, 26th in the league, to 42.3, second overall. That's insane. Luka didn't just join the team, he transformed it. The man's a walking offense, a franchise changer, a straight-up basketball hurricane. But here's where things go from bad to tragic for Dallas fans. Remember how the Mavericks claimed they were worried about Luka's durability and conditioning? Yeah, turns out karma had something else in mind. The guy they traded for, Anthony Davis, didn't even finish his first game. He dropped 26 points and 16 rebounds before limping off in the third quarter with what they called a lower body injury.
They're surprised at the Luka trade, the Luka for AD trade. How did that one land with you?
Just because of how kind of out of blue it was without any type of hint or rumor or any kind of sign. That's, especially them coming out the finals, like, it's a reminder. Maybe only a few in this league that can go to sleep with, any type of confidence, but then just still be there. It's kind of a very unique situation across the board, but I think just the idea that it happened in silence was pretty crazy. The fact that you hear a trade and everybody thinks somebody's been hacked is hilarious.
And that was just the beginning of the nightmare. Since joining Dallas, Davis has only played 14 total games. 14. He's been hit with an adductor injury, a calf strain, and what feels like a new issue every other week. Meanwhile, the player Dallas gave up, Luka Dončić, is thriving in Los Angeles, looking like a mix between Jordan and Magic. The irony? It's brutal. Dallas traded away a young superstar they feared might get injured for an older superstar who's always injured. You can't make this stuff up. Even former NBA player Richard Jefferson couldn't hold back, saying Dallas traded conditioning concerns for actual conditioning problems. Ouch, that line might haunt the franchise forever. Now, let's talk collapse. Because this wasn't just a bad trade, it was an organizational meltdown. The Mavericks went from representing the West in the finals to not even making the playoffs. They became the first team since the 2020 Warriors to fall that hard, that fast. Their season ended in humiliation, a 120-106 loss to the Memphis Grizzlies in the play-in game. Davis dropped 40 points, sure, but also re-aggravated another leg injury in the process. The return for Luka Dončić, one of the most gifted players of this generation.
We see Anthony Davis, if you would tell us at watching him walk into training camp, right, and seeing that he was a little heavy, he had to deal with the retina stuff or the so
detached retina.
But if you told me, looking at him in that interview, that 8 games in, he would have Achilles soreness.
Ended up being a ticking time bomb wrapped in bad luck. Dallas didn't just lose a star, they lost their entire future. All that chaos. And what did Dallas actually get in return? 1 first-round pick. That's it. A 2029 first-rounder as part of the swap. For context, when the Knicks traded for Mikal Bridges, they gave up 4 unprotected first-round picks. Dallas basically gave away a generational superstar for pocket change. Mavs fans weren't just heartbroken, they were furious. At the draft lottery watch party inside the American Airlines Center, chants of "Fire Nico" echoed through the arena like a funeral march. Even minority owner Mark Cuban, who had already sold his majority stake, tried to wash his hands of the mess. On the All In podcast, Cuban straight up said, "I messed up." When the guy who's not even running the team anymore admits he screwed up, you know things have gone off the rails. But then came the twist nobody saw coming. Dallas actually won the draft lottery. With just a 1.8% chance, they landed the #1 pick and selected Cooper Flagg, the National College Player of the Year, out of Duke. The hype was insane. Fans were calling him the next Luca, the savior of the franchise. Of course, the internet exploded with conspiracy theories, people saying the lottery was rigged to make up for the Luka trade disaster. Whether true or not, it didn't matter. The spotlight instantly landed on an 18-year-old kid who hadn't played a single NBA game yet.
There was this idea that you would still be involved to some extent.
Yeah, I fucked up.
Yeah. Unpack it.
Yeah, I mean, when I did the deal, the presumption was that I would still be running basketball. And we tried to put it in the contract, but the NBA said the governor is the governor and they make all final decisions. And then, I was involved, and then we went on this run where we went to the finals. And rather than trying to interject myself all the time, right, I was like, I don't want to get in the way. We're rolling. And that was a mistake.
Coach Jason Kidd didn't exactly help calm things down either. When asked about Flagg's development, he said, I want to make him uncomfortable and see how he reacts. That's his plan, for a rookie who's supposed to save the franchise. They're literally asking a teenager to replace Luka Dončić, a once-in-a-generation talent traded away, and now all the pressure of Dallas's future rests on an 18-year-old's shoulders. It's not just rebuilding, it's desperation dressed up as hope. Let that sink in for a second. This is the same franchise that had Dirk Nowitzki for 21 straight years, then Luka Dončić for 6, and somehow managed to blow it all up. Now they're pinning their hopes on an 18-year-old rookie to save them. The curse of Dallas basketball is alive and well, and it's getting uglier by the season. But here's the poetic twist. Through all the chaos, Luka hasn't said a single negative word. When he finally faced the media after joining the Lakers, he simply said Dallas was home and called the trade a really hard moment for me. That's it. No shade, no petty comments, no drama, just silence and domination. That's cold-blooded class. And make no mistake, this is the best version of Luka Dončić we've ever seen. Statisticians confirmed he's only the second player in NBA history to score over 200 points in his first 5 games, and the first to do it since 1963.
Get the position. You know, I want to put him at the point guard. I want to make him uncomfortable and see how he reacts. Being able to run the show, being able to play the 2, play the 3. He's comfortable playing that, but we want to push. And I think he's going to respond in a positive way. It's all right to fail. It's all right to turn the ball over. We've talked about that.
That's more than 60 years of basketball history shattered in 1 week. Every 40-point night, payback. Every triple-double, revenge. Every highlight, a brutal reminder to Dallas, you gave this up. Even around the league, players couldn't believe what just happened. Stephen Curry summed up the world's reaction perfectly when he said he was shocked at the trade, admitting the whole thing made no sense. Anthony Edwards was even more blunt, saying, "They traded probably the best scorer in the NBA at 25 and he didn't even know about it. You don't trade him at 25, he just went to the finals. I feel bad for Luka, man." When other superstars are calling your front office insane, that tells you everything you need to know. And here's the kicker. Had Luka stayed in Dallas, he was eligible for a 5-year, $345 million Supermax extension, the largest contract in NBA history. But instead of locking up a generational legend, the Mavericks turned him into a ghost of what could have been. Luka didn't need revenge speeches. His stat sheet does the talking. Every game in LA feels like a message to his old team. You fumbled greatness, and now the whole world's watching it thrive without you. Now here's the wild part. The Lakers got Luka without even committing to that $345 million Supermax right away. They pulled off the biggest finesse in NBA history. Imagine this. They could have built around Luka and recreated a modern-day rivalry with OKC's Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Luka versus Shai for the next decade? That's ratings gold. Instead, Dallas chose Anthony Davis, a 32-year-old who's played just 14 games, and Cooper Flagg, a talented but overworked teenager. Reporters have been ruthless, calling this move one of the most shocking trades in NBA and American sports history. Fans, analysts, even players are still trying to wrap their heads around it. The consensus? The Lakers didn't just win the trade, they committed daylight robbery. They walked away with a 25-year-old in his prime while giving up a veteran with chronic injury issues. That's not a trade. That's a steal that belongs in a museum. This wasn't about basketball. It was about fear. Nico Harrison chose structure over superstardom, defense over dominance, fear over faith. And now, the Mavericks are 2-6, sitting next to the Pelicans at the bottom of the Western Conference. The team that was in the finals months ago is now a ghost town of regret. Meanwhile, in Los Angeles, Luka Dončić is crafting one of the greatest starts to a season in NBA history. Every stat, every record, every highlight screams, "You shouldn't have let me go." The trade that ruined Dallas didn't just build a monster, it created a myth in LA. Luka isn't just playing basketball anymore. He's rewriting history, one game at a time. And the saddest part? He's only 26 years old, a decade of dominance still ahead of him. Every single night he steps on that court in purple and gold, Dallas has to sit back and watch the ghost of what could have been. This isn't just a bad trade, it's basketball purgatory. If you enjoyed this breakdown of one of the biggest disasters in NBA history, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and drop a comment below. What's the worst trade your team ever made? Because let's be real, Whatever it is, it still can't top this catastrophe.